Okay, Alexei, do you hear Michael? Michael, do you hear Alexei?
Hello.
Hello, this is Alexei.
Hi. Yep, hear ya.
Great, we all hear each other. Wonderful.
Great. So, who was your interview with on the radio?
It was with WUSB, Tom Needham in New York.
Oh, neat. Yeah, that's right. You're playing in New York on New Year's Eve at Avery Fisher Hall.
We are.
Right.
That's good.
Right.
That's going to be exciting. Anything you want to say about it?
Oh, it's very exciting. Well, I mean, of course, it's a dream of anyone to play with the New York Philharmonic under Alan Gilbert, and that dream is coming true. But also, it's it's going to be a nightmare. I mean, it's going to be a big nightmare. It's the name of our show is Big Nightmare Music, which we're doing with them, and it's the New Year's Eve concert. It's going to be a fabulous show. We're going to get the orchestra to dance and to sing and cry at the same time as playing, which probably they've never done before, all at the same time.
Right.
And it's going to be quite a crazy evening. So it's one of the highlights for us.
Well,
Definitely.
It's also a big highlight for us. This is Hyung-ki Joo speaking.
Yeah,
because, the New York Phil have performed before with Victor Borger and Danny Kaye. And, they're very much idols of ours and very much people that we believe are kindred spirits. So the fact that, we're following in this sort of line of music comedians, let's say, makes us very happy to do that. Nevertheless, to mention all the great musicians that have conducted and performed with the New York Phil.
Yeah, you guys are doing great. I mean, yeah, you've had quite a career so far, and it looks like you're not slowing down anytime soon. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's see now, Alexei, you have a bow made by a Boston bow maker, Benoit Roland, and you play.
Yes.
Yeah. And you play on a Santo Seraphin violin made in 1717. And it's,
That's correct.
Yeah, and it's kindly loaned to you by the Erste Bank. How does one get a violin from a bank?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about both things.
Sure.
The violin, basically, is very kindly loaned to me by this Austrian bank. We're both also have a bank account with, and it's actually very, very practical for banks to have instruments. Instruments are a phenomenal investment. Especially violins, violas, and cello, because the value really doesn't go down, and it just rises up at an incredible speed, and has done, and as long as I believe society will be, it will continue to do so, because these rare instruments, they're not getting more, they're just getting less and less through the years. Now, at the same time, as being a great investment, they've become, unfortunately, so expensive that a lot of performers, for them, it's very, very difficult to acquire one to play on. So the very practical thing for something like the bank to do, which they have done in my case, is to buy the instrument and loan it out to the performer, to me, and I just simply have to mention them in interviews like I do now, or put them in the program leaflet, and they get wonderful advertising for being great with the arts, and at the same time they have a great investment where the value doesn't drop. So that really makes sense. And the modern bow, the Benoit Roland bow, he's a wonderful, incredible bow maker. I think one of the greatest, if not the greatest bow maker who is alive today, and also has become a dear friend. And even though there are very, very many famous French bows from the 19th century, as incredible value, I still choose to play this modern, incredible bow because I think he makes some of the best bows ever made. And he's a French violin maker based in Boston, and really one of the greats.
So, well, his genius was literally recognized last year by the MacArthur Genius Awards, and he's one of the recipients of that very prestigious prize. So the fact that the bow maker, gets put in that league of geniuses just shows his attestment to how innovative he is with developing something.
Right.
So also, what is very exciting is that he has developed a completely type of frog that's the bottom part of the bow, the
right.
very bottom, the heaviest part, and it's really amazing. One just has to see it to believe it, and it makes the bow, any bow, just much more playable and fantastically ergonomic and brilliant.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, what makes a good bow? Is it the balance? Is it the weight? Is it the hair?
Oh, so many things. It's every combination of everything. Actually, also the wood. It has to be a great piece of wood, which is more and more difficult to get these days. Very, very difficult to find these days. But
I know, a lot of bows are Pernambuco, Brazil wood.
Well, that's the thing. Pernambuco, basically, you can't have anymore. So it's really crazy. Very, very, very difficult to get wood, so to speak.
Yeah, I know. And your violin, you use an electric violin too sometimes, right?
Oh, well, yes, and especially, yes, I do use an electric violin. Actually, my regular electric violin, which I sometimes use, is by Ned Steinberger, also a great electric violin maker. But we developed our own type of Igudesman and Joo electric violin, let's say, and funnily enough, the shape of it was developed by the head technician of Steinway, and it's actually an electric violin which is made from the stick that holds up the piano lid. I know it sounds completely crazy, but actually you can see it also on one of our YouTube videos called Gravity.
Right.
Nothing to do with the movie. It's just a number which we wrote independently, and this number will also be performing on the 5th of January in Long Beach Carpenter Center.
Excellent. Yeah. So while we're talking about movies, you've actually produced a movie yourself. It was called Noseland, right?
That's right. It was my directing debut, and so it's premiered in over 15 festivals worldwide. It was very exciting. Of course, it had Hyung-ki in it as well, besides Sir Roger Moore and John Malkovich.
Right.
But in the future, as Igudesman and Joo, we hope to produce many movies and also TV shows. At the moment there are some preliminary talks to possibly produce some TV show of ours, and that's really a big, long-term dream, isn't it, Hyung-ki?
Absolutely. In fact, funnily enough, when Alexei and we got together 10 years ago, and we sat down to write the things that we always wanted to write, the first ideas were initially ideas born for TV. And then we were sitting there writing, and we said, well, we can't do this. We don't have a TV show. The only way we can do this is maybe put them on stage. So then we ended up minimizing and translating these ideas so they would work on a stage, theatrically. But many of those ideas, of course, got put into the bank, into the TV bank. And a lot of the stuff that we're doing, like, for example, on New Year's Eve with the New York Phil, or a week later with the Seattle Symphony, a lot of those things are ideas which are TV-inspired ideas. One of them is called Kung Fu Violinist, for example, which has very, very film-related, movie-like feeling to it.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
Basically Alexei comes on, it's kind of a homage to Asian movies, and he comes on dressed up as a Kung Fu martial artist and performs the violin, throwing his violin up in the air, throwing the bow, playing all his tricks. And this is very much inspired by Hong Kong action movies and so on. So movies is a very big part of our creativity and inspiration.
Right. How did you hook up with Sir Roger Moore? He's not a classical musician, and he doesn't really do comedy or anything.
Actually, he's a very funny guy.
He is a very funny guy, and even in the Bond movies, I believe he was the one with the most humor.
Right.
In many ways. He's a big classical music lover, really, and initially he met actually our dear friend, a wonderful violinist, Julian Rachlin, a world-famous violinist who, for many years, had a festival in Dubrovnik, Croatia. And that's where we did many projects together with Sir Roger Moore as well. Many things that we've developed, and he's done all sorts of things. He's been in sketches with us, live on show. We've invited him to be guest in our New Year's Eve concert in Vienna, where he performed with us,
he also inaugurated. In that same New Year's Eve concert in 2011, we created the world record for the most dancing violinists.
Yeah, I saw that.
We had 100 violinists from all over the world, flying from places as far as Australia and Canada and Qatar and all kinds of places. They all flew on their own cost just to take part in this world record. And Roger Moore was there inaugurating it, and the proceeds of the world record went to UNICEF. It was to bring awareness to UNICEF. But the other aim for that world record was, for us, we didn't really care much about the world record. We don't really care if it gets broken tomorrow.
Yeah.
For us, it was a way of inspiring people to be innovative with music and ways of playing music. So we'd be really happy if there'd be like 100 more records like that, the most. In fact, we even saw something on YouTube recently where there was an alpine skier playing the trombone while he was downhill skiing. So there are a lot of these things happening, and we stand for creativity and pushing boundaries and having fun with one's music.
Oh, that's obvious with your shows and your videos. Yeah, that's excellent. So you've speaking of Roger Moore, you did something with him called From Mozart with Love. It's kind of a spin-off of the James Bond movies, and
yes.
And there's one scene where he tells you guys to F off.
Yes, we believe that is perhaps the only moment in his entire career where he actually says that, and it's particularly poignant because you just don't expect it from him, because he's a sir. I mean, he's a real sir. He's a knight of the British Empire.
Right.
He's so much wonderful work for charity, and he's such a well-mannered, typical English gentleman. And from all the movies that you see him in, whether they're James Bond or not, he's always so elegant. And the fact that he actually utters that, four-letter expletive to us is, I think, the biggest honor for us. Don't you think, Alexei?
Oh, yeah.
I see it as a word of love in this very case.
Yes, absolutely. It's a four-letter expletive word of love.
Yeah, I was going to ask whose idea that was.
You know what, as well, during the filming of that, because that was a part of a documentary where we were involved in the editing process as well, called Everything You Wanted to Know About Music, which is kind of a fake documentary about us. It's kind of a documentary about what we do, but, exaggerated, and we had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And that scene was actually, we had a premise, but that was partly improvised, so that was not scripted. So he just came out with that, and we just thought it was hilarious, so it stayed in the movie.
That's great. It's kind of like the Spinal Tap of classical music.
Exactly. Well, that's also
Yeah.
That was our intention.
That was an intention with that, also with Noseland, the movie that I directed, and with a lot of things that we do and we'd like to do. It's very much in that spirit.
Right. And you're doing very well at it. So, another famous musician you've played with is Joshua Bell, a violinist, American-based violinist, but he's also international. And you've done a video with him, a Christmas video, right?
That's right.
Video actually of a CD track. Joshua Bell just came out with his new CD called Musical Gifts. And one of the tracks is a piece which Alexei wrote called Christmas Confusion. And so the video you're referring to is the music video of that song. And the CD is obviously Christmas themed, seeing as that's the time of year we're at.
Right.
And it's on sale right now. So people can, if people don't have any ideas what to get for their loved ones, well, Joshua Bell's musical gifts.
There you go. Did you guys tease him about his busking experience in D.C.?
We think he's been teased enough about that. So.
Oh yeah.
He's a great sport. Not only did we perform with him and appear in the music video with him, but he was a guest in our Carnegie Hall concert last year, and he came on.
Well, he's been a friend of ours for many years.
That's true. Yeah,
and a supporter of what we do. He was always talks very highly of what we do, and
well, he's thrown also the most generous after parties for almost every of our New York concerts, which is really very
That's
sweet.
true.
Right. Cool. So yeah, you guys have had a heck of a career, and you've performed with a lot of famous people. Do you guys teach at all still?
We have a workshop called 8 to 88, which we don't teach as in such because we don't have really the time to. We don't spend so much time at home, but we on the road we give workshops sometimes, and we've done that in where have we done it, Hyung-ki? You remember that better? UCLA.
In UCLA, San Francisco Conservative Music, Yale University, a lot of places.
And it's a workshop really essentially for young and older musicians, for musicians of all ages. That's why it's called 8 to 88, where we, experiment, try things out, and talk about a lot of things that are not talked about in a musician's career as well. How do you get a career, and how do you deal with the stage? How do you bow?
Right.
And also how are you how can you be creative, and how can you break out of your shell as a musician? So we do these workshops, which give us a lot of pleasure.
Cool. That's great. Well, you've been very generous with your time. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you've got a busy schedule. I really appreciate you guys doing this interview with me.
It's a big pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing it with us.
Oh, no problem at all.
Examiner.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'll put it on there sometime this week. I'll do a transcription, and I'll also post a video of our recorded phone interview.
Oh, fantastic! Wonderful.
Yeah.
Please do that, and if you can do some links, maybe 1 or 2 links of our videos from YouTube, it'll be great, because it's that's just the best way to see what we do.
I will. Yes.
Maybe Christmas Confusion, seeing as it's very seasonal.
Yeah, I'll link to it. I'll link to the video. I'll link to your website.
Perfect.